As we approach Rosh Shoshana, our Jewish New Year, which is next week, we reflect on the past year and consider the many ways in which we have grown, what we have learned, what has changed for us, and what has changed us. We also consider what we could have done better and how to make better choices in the coming year. It's surprising how tremendous changes can occur in just 1 year. For some of us, positive experiences and changes, while others experience devastating changes. But collectively, we experience both. In my own life, I moved this year to Northern California here to be with you at Congregation Betham. I have been incredibly blessed to meet many people, and I'm still finding more opportunities to meet as many people in our community as possible. I also recently got into a minor car accident. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but one of my family members reminded me that now I'm a real Californian. As you might already tell, it's been a great year with mostly positive changes. And yet, as I stand here with you, I still feel like life happens so quickly. Like many of us, I need a moment to retrace my steps. It would be such a spiritual loss if I slid from one chapter of my life into another, from 1 year into another. I am sure there are many moments in your life, in your year, including highs and lows and everything in between, that you want to reflect on as well. I am truly grateful for these fixed times every year when we have a chance to reflect, begin anew, and improve ourselves. So it's befitting then that on this Shabbat, as we are in the period of reflection and anticipation, we read a double Torah portion because it's also the leap year, Parashat Netzavim, you stand this day, and Parashat Vayelech, Moses walks. These two portions explore the nature of taking a stand and paying attention to our choices before we move forward. We read Parashat Nitzavim, the first portion, twice every year, and within a short period of time. First, we read it this Shabbat because it's our weekly Torah reading, because of our weekly Torah reading cycle. Then we read a section of it again on Yom Kippur Day, the holiest day of our year. In one of his last speeches, Moses emphasizes some of the important Jewish values, the value of unity. We read, you stand this day, all of you, before your God Adonai, your tribal heads, your elders, your officials, every household in Israel, your children, even the strangers within your camp, from wood choppers to water drawers. You enter into the covenant of your God Adonai together. Most importantly, this Shabbat, Moses emphasizes the power of choice. God, through Moses, tells us that we have before us life and goodness, or death and evil, and cautions us that we must consistently choose life. I was reminded earlier by Rabbi Heath that those are the words that are written on our curtain. Ubachalta b'chaim leman tichye ata vezarecha. Choose life, and that you and your children may live. Moses reminds us too that in life, blessings and curses indeed happen. They come to pass. But by choosing to do the work of teshuvah, we can always return to God's voice within us by tending to our hearts and our souls. At this point in the Torah, Moses is aware that he will not have the opportunity to set foot in the promised land, the land that was promised to his ancestors. Earlier on in the earlier Torah portion, he blames the Israelites for their stubbornness and their disobedience. He tells them that it's because of them that God is punishing him with death. But as Moses gathers everyone this Shabbat, in this week's Torah portion, to renew the covenant with God, he reminds them that they have a choice, that they stand at crossroads between the past and the promise of the future. As they stand, they must choose between life and death. As they stand, they must also acknowledge that what is beyond their reach and do something about what is in their hands. He assures the Israelites that if they ever get lost through the process of teshuvah, God will not only just wait for them at the finish line, but God will be part of their journey of return. Now, these two Torah portions that we read this week offer us meaningful interpretation even in their names. Netzavim, you stand here today, all of you, to renew your lives. So we take a moment, we stand, we look north, and we look south, we look east, and we look west. Who is standing with you? Is everyone counted? Take another moment to think of all those who will come after you. Then Parashat Vayelech complements Nesavim. It gives us snippets of how Moses chooses to walk forward. He chooses peace, he chooses forgiveness, he chooses life, and he chooses the future. Vayelech, which means he walks, points us to Moses walking to the Israelites and telling them that it's time for new leadership, time to move beyond him. Parashat Vayelech moves us and reminds us to take realistic steps towards the new year. Just like Moses, we put our hearts and our souls into what we can do to ensure a better world, and reminds us also to not dwell on things that we cannot change. As we enter Sukkot, which is tomorrow night, and Rosh Hashanah, we are reminded to renew our commitment to life, to peace, to forgiveness, to unity, to the future of our planet, to justice, and we are reminded to thrive. As individuals and as a collective, we stand together. Then we walk forward into the new year. Shabbat Shalom, Veshana Tova.
Wonderful.